2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, the 23rd of March, and it's National Puppy Day. And a big happy birthday to Mo Farah, Russell Howard, Damon Albarn, and Kerry Russell. Roll up to see the Boris show, the man with an incredible knack for bending the truth. Lockdown may be behind us, but for Boris, Partygate is far from over. The former PM spent the best part of 4 hours being grilled by a committee of MPs on the lockdown-era gatherings at number 10. If he's found to have deliberately or recklessly misled Parliament, he faces suspension from the Commons. But he made sure we knew he definitely 100% was not lying.
I'm here to say to you, hand on heart, that I did not lie to the House. When those statements were made, they were made in good faith.
Radio. As the questions wore on, he got less jovial and much sharper in tone, denouncing one question as nonsense and digging his heels in over accusations of partying.
Would you have advised anyone else in the country, if they'd asked you at one of the press conferences at that time, to have a large social gathering in the garden?
People who say that we were partying in lockdown simply do not know what they are talking about.
The committee aren't expected to release their report until the summer, but Tory MP and chair of the Conservative Democratic organisation, David Campbell-Bannerman, warned that if it doesn't go Boris's way here, we'll be seeing the consequences.
If this goes through, it will close down Parliament and the committees and anyone appearing at those committees. It would be a disaster.
Rishi Sunak's new Brexit deal for Northern Ireland's been passed by MPs despite the best efforts of some 22 Tory MPs and a backlash from members of the DUP. Ex-PMs Boris Johnson and Liz Truss were among a small handful of Tory rebels voting against the agreement, but it was passed by 515 to 29. Northern Ireland Secretary Chris Heaton-Harris was happy with the deal, and he says that the majority in Northern Ireland feel the same way.
We are maintaining, it's basically 3% of EU law in Northern Ireland, which is the bare minimum to maintain Northern Ireland's access to the single market, which just about every business I've spoken to in Northern Ireland is delighted to be maintaining.
Tory rebel and Victorian hat stand Jacob Rees-Mogg was busy having a grumble about the vote, but the best he could do was throw some Labour Party Brexit shade.
The Labour Party is on side, and that's very interesting because the Labour Party has always been weak on Brexit. So once you see the Labour Party supporting it, you have to wonder if it's as good as it's cracked up to be.
After a 3-day visit to Moscow, Chinese President Xi Jinping is headed home with no sign of progress on the Chinese 12-point peace plan for Ukraine. The visit did appear to solidify Beijing's commitment to Moscow, with a return invite to China issued to Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky was busy visiting his troops on the front line in Bakhmut, where he met wounded soldiers and handed out medals.
The most important thing is victory. After the victory, we will definitely visit everything. You have such a difficult fate, but it is so important to protect our historic land, to return everything to Ukraine for our children. I am very grateful to everyone who protects us.
Meanwhile, Tobias Ellwood's given a warning on any potential peace talks. The chair of the House of Commons Defence Select Committee made it clear that Russia must have no part in Ukraine.
If there's any part of Ukraine which is left in Russia's hands, Putin can declare a victory. Putin then survives. Everything calms down, and he does it, he regroups, rearms, and does it all again in another part of Europe.
It's been a brutal time for the LGBTQ plus community around the world, with anti-trans rhetoric growing and many US states introducing new legislation to outlaw gender-affirming treatment. Now, in Uganda, people who identified as gay risk life in prison as their government passes a new bill to crack down on homosexual activities. While homosexual acts are already illegal, Uganda's parliament has now made it a crime to even identify as LGBTQ plus. It's been widely condemned by human rights groups worldwide, but Ugandan official Musa Ekweru was very clear on his government's intentions.
We are making this law for our children, and once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Chelsea's women get the win, and Jennifer Aniston has some style advice. Right after this. Welcome back.
3,
There was confusion on Wednesday evening over the sale process for Man United. The Glazer family are looking for big money for the club. They've suggested £6 billion, but no bidders matched that as yet. The bid deadline was extended last night as at least one bidder asked for more time. Wednesday also saw more Women's Champions League quarter-final action, with Chelsea's women in France to take on Lyon. They came away with a 1-0 win, which gives them the advantage for next week's home leg at Stamford Bridge, and head coach Emma Hayes says that could make all the difference.
Yeah, I think it's crucial. This is the home of the champions of Europe. They've won it so many times, so for us to take a 1-0 lead going into the home game, I can't ask any more.
Adam Sandler has been named a style icon. Who would have thought that? It's all down to his co-star Jennifer Aniston, who's been dishing the dirt on his unusual dress sense. The two go way back after both finding fame in the 90s, but they've teamed up again on their latest comedy Murder Mystery 2, which is available on Netflix from March the 31st. Jen popped up on The Tonight Show and spilled the tea on Adam Sandler's special posh outfit.
We had a dinner, we were in Italy doing the first one, and it was, nice dinner we were invited to, and he shows up in basketball shorts, satin basketball shorts with white piping. But he kind of, Vogue did this. Vogue, basically gave him the style icon, made him a style icon of
They
something.
said?
Is it really always best to tell the truth? Well, that's the question Julia Louis-Dreyfus ponders in Nicole Holofcener's Sundance dramedy. The critically acclaimed new movie, You Hurt My Feelings, has released its first trailer and stars Louis-Dreyfus as writer Beth, whose marriage is suddenly thrown into turmoil when she hears her husband's honest opinion of her new book. It leads her to question the whole relationship with her husband, played by Tobias Menzies.
He's been lying to me this whole time.
I wasn't lying. I was encouraging.
That's not true. You were lying to be encouraging.
You know what? As an actor, Mark isn't always great. So the times when you don't think he's good, what do you say to him? You were so fantastic.
Really?
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.